14 WILI and 95.3 FM presents Hometown Threads, a closer look at our community and the people that make it go. Every week, you'll hear uplifting stories from our local businesses and our neighbors. Now, here's our host for Hometown Threads, Keith C. Rice.
Episode 101. Wow, we're over the century mark. Hometown Threads on 14 WILI, 95.3 FM. Willimantic Today, Facebook, Spectrum 192. It's Keith C. Rice. Welcome back for another week. A little programming note, I will not be here next week, so it'll probably be a rerun. Maybe we'll run Diana again, or maybe episode 100, Denny Gates. I don't know. Matt Rupar will probably help make the executive decision. But first things first, time to do episode 101 of Hometown Threads, brought to you by Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind, with 3 great local locations. Of course, across the street from the radio station at 679 Main Street, Willimantic. Gateway Commons down on West Main Street, managed by my wife, Marianne, and then Route 195 in Mansfield, Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. Matt Rupar, if you'd be so kind, say hello to the fine folks.
Hello.
And here we go, episode 101. Of course, we have a podcast sponsor. Not just Hometown Threads is on WILI.com. Pardon me, I'm just fixing my microphone here. But if you go to WILI.com, you can check out all our great talk shows. Is Homegrown up there yet?
Yeah.
Okay, Homegrown. That's Matt Rupar's show every Friday afternoon, 4 to 5 o'clock. He spotlights Connecticut music, and doesn't matter what kind of genre you are, he will play it. Just send it to you, right?
That's
go ahead,
right.
throw out your email address real quick.
matt.rupar@gmail.com.
There you go. So big thanks to Mark Tripoli, my podcast sponsor, Tripoli Pro Clean Services. Now it's a pleasure to welcome in. We're trying to get her in here for quite some time and appreciate her patience. She was on the road, though. She still got a tan from being in Florida a few weeks ago. The longtime head coach of ECSU softball, Diana Pepin. Welcome in.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Keith.
It's great to be here. Now, I like to ask some of my guests that come in here, have you done this before? A lot of people, most of the people usually say, yeah, I've been on with Wayno before. And I just said, and I know Wayno's, of course, he does a lot of UConn, but we also talk a lot of Eastern here on WILI. So we had you in probably a bunch of years ago, right?
Yeah, so did Dennis O'Brien.
Oh, Dennis has had you in here? Who's Dennis O'Brien? I'm kidding. Let's talk about it, of course, with Dennis and Susan. When were you with those guys?
A while ago. He always tries to get me on Charter TV.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You can watch Spectrum 192, another place where you can watch their show, and Hometown Threads. Oh, yeah, I have a hat on. I usually don't wear a hat, but thank you, Coach Pepin, bringing me a little ECSU softball swag. And let's get right into it. We knew you grew up around here, like myself. Tell us, 24 years of coaching ECSU softball. Let's start with this year's team. Now, tell us a little about this year's team. It was kind of a rough Florida trip, though, right?
Yeah, it was a learning experience for sure. Came back 3-7, lost 4 games by 1 run in the 7th inning. So it's been a lot to kind of learn from, but we're getting there. We start 6 freshmen, sophomores, so we're very young, and then we have 2 seniors. Hometown Maddie Suave, who went to E.O. Smith, is playing second base, and then Maggie Rubeck is at first base, and she's from Mass. Those are the only 2 seniors that we're starting right now.
So, and what's the record right now again?
We're 5-9 now.
Okay.
We won 2 this weekend.
Okay, great. Over
Castleton.
Castleton.
Conference.
They're in your conference, and you're in the Little East, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us about 24 years. It's challenging having a young team, right?
Yeah.
And it's you just gotta. How many seniors did you lose, by the way?
Well, we lost Julia Sangiovanni, who was there for 6 years because of COVID, and Alyssa Vilches, who was a great pitcher from Canada. She just was a fierce competitor. And then we lost our shortstop. We lost a center fielder to injury. So we lost a lot.
Yeah.
We lost a lot.
Where are some of these girls that have graduated? Like you mentioned, the Vilches. I remember seeing her name. Are they playing somewhere else now? Do they move on to the next level, or
No. She's finishing up at Eastern with her master's in teaching, and Julia is at Conn College working in the hockey arena and facilities.
24 years of coaching at ECSU. So you started in 2001, and who did you replace? Jeff Anderson? Did you replace Jeff?
There was a 1-year interim position with Rich Page, and before that was Tom York. So what happened was...
Yeah, what happened in that little transition?
Clyde Washburn retired. Jeff Anderson took over. He was 5 years there and won a national championship in 1990. And then in 92, he passed away. And then there was kind of like a stint of John Risley coached for a year. Clyde came back for a year. Then they hired Cindy for 2 years. Then they hired Tom.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't realize there was that much
stint.
turnover.
Yeah. Well, it was a part-time position
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
until it became full-time volleyball, softball, and that's when Tom York took over. Yeah, and then I was right after him.
So that was 2001. Now let's go way back. Let's talk about growing up playing sports around here. You're a Wyndham High standout athlete, from what I understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Softball's your love, your first
Yes.
love. But talk about growing up in this area and the other sports you used to play, and share some stories with us.
It was such a competitive environment,
It
I'll
was.
say, with all the female athletes in the neighborhood. We always played with the boys, and I played baseball with Lisa Avery. We were the first two to make the Little League team.
Were you really? The first
yeah.
two ever? First two
Yeah.
girls? Really, in Willimantic?
Yeah.
I never knew that. Wow.
And
Look at that.
so we were the only two girls playing Little League, and then we started softball with Dennis O'Brien after that, and I was too old, so I coached. But being at Wyndham High, I mean, the greats were Bonnie Cucci, Karen Christensen, Lisa Ruggs, Colleen Healy, Heidi Haggerty, who else? Melanie Monroe. A lot of really quality athletes. So it was fun. We were always competitive. We were winning conference championships in basketball, softball, and I ran for Coach Haddad my first
Did you
2
say you
years.
ran? Oh, Coach Haddad, God rest in peace. He's another legendary. So many, not only legendary players, but the coaches too.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You mentioned Coach Haddad, Coach Risley, and there's another Coach Risley. There's Pat's up there, right?
Yeah.
He's still coaching, I believe.
I think he's coaching wrestling.
Yep.
Yep. Becky Howard was
yeah.
up there.
Let's see. Well, Martineau's up there now. He's a legend around here. We've had him on Hometown Threads. You can just go right down the line. I mentioned Risley. So you played. So you played basketball. Did you grow up around the YMCA too?
A little bit.
'Cause
I
played
wasn't
lot.
a big basketball person like Colleen Healy, but I played because it was something to do. Stay in
I'm sure
shape.
you were pretty good too.
I was
Well, you weren't on the
okay.
Wyndham High basketball. You didn't play.
Yeah, I was.
So you did play Wyndham High
Yeah,
basketball. Okay.
I played for Mr. Shea.
Okay. So, as we mentioned, softball's your first love. What was it like? Did you run cross country and play basketball all those years too, or were you softball? Were you only softball 4 years?
Yeah,
And
I was
when-
only softball 4 years. I played.
The other ones you played here and there?
Yeah, so my cousin Mary Louise Conis wanted me to swim, and I was like, absolutely not. I'm
When would you
not
find the
getting in
time? You're
that.
doing all these other sports.
I don't like the pool. So my freshman year, I didn't have anything to do, and Coach Haddad asked me to run. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I ran 2 years, and then I was kind of bored. So I went and played soccer, and then I played volleyball my senior year.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you just stayed. You knew softball. You were going to play all 4 years,
Yeah.
and you weren't all state for softball at
No,
all. I
it's
could have
very
swore you were.
political. I don't know. No, I wasn't.
Huh. Okay.
I wasn't.
So I remember reading about you in the paper years ago.
I played third base since my freshman year.
Who was
and
on that team? That's all. Well,
Bonnie, Karen,
Well,
Lisa Ruggs.
so all 4 years you played softball. You guys won a conference championship all 4 years.
I think so, yeah.
Wow. Now, along with yourself, how many of those girls that you played with at Wyndham went on to Eastern, or where else did they go?
Well, Bonnie went to Yale. Karen went D2, I forget where. Well, you know, Colleen went to New Haven, came back to Eastern, and then went to the higher ups at UConn.
Yeah, boy, she went right to. We'll
Yeah.
get into her in a second too.
Okay.
But so go ahead. So you
So,
did you get any? Were you getting looked at by any? Anybody?
D1s?
Yeah, any
I
D1s
went
or
up to
D2s?
Central and was recruited up at Central, but I didn't like it, and I wanted to win a national championship, so why not stay in your hometown, right? Even though it was a mile away from my house.
And you won a national championship.
Yeah,
correct?
1990.
That's right, 1990.
My
And
junior year.
Jeff Anderson.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. let's talk a little about that. Well, actually, no, I want to get into that. I want to talk about the national championships and all that. But your senior year, you won another conference championship with Wyndham softball. What's going through your mind? You knew you wanted to. Did you want to test the waters and check out Central, or were you pretty about like 85-90% sure you want to stay here and play at Eastern?
I
What was going through your
pretty
mind?
much 99% sure I wanted to play at Eastern. I wanted to go into physical education. They had a great program. And then, Jeff was recruiting me. I knew some of the players. I would always go to the games and watch and try to learn stuff from the older clan who won national championships in 85 and 86.
Boy, they won a lot back then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're bringing back
Fun,
memories.
yeah.
I mean, well, you and I are on the same age. But I remember being young and following Eastern baseball and Eastern softball. We're both like the talk of the town for many years growing up. You got any good, before we get into the whole national championship thing, how well did you know Coach Washburn?
Oh, I knew him well. I never played for him. I
Right.
wish I did, because I think he was such an eclectic coach, and he would have pushed me a little bit more than Jeff did, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he was around when Jeff was coaching for sure. But yeah, I got to know him. He would come back, do some alumni events with us, and talk to me. I got him back to coach with me for a couple years, but it was too hard for him because the kids are totally different. And he was like, they don't even say hi to me, so I'm out.
And sadly, we lost him not too long ago, right?
No, not too long ago.
It was in the past 10 years?
19.
Was it 19? That long ago? Coach
Yeah.
Washburn? Wow. Okay, what's Jeff Anderson doing these days? Coach Anderson?
He passed away.
He passed away too? I
at
didn't know this.
33.
I didn't know this. Oh, well, I moved away for a bunch of years.
Yeah.
How did he pass away? I'm sorry to ask this, but...
He had prostate cancer.
Oh my goodness, I had
Yeah.
no idea. Well, rest in peace to both legendary coaches. Well, tell us, you got any good Coach Anderson stories?
Oh, God.
You played,
He was a great guy. He knew the game. He learned from Clyde. His practices were good. Risley was with him. I loved Coach Riz because he had a lot of pizzazz, I'll say, and did a lot more with the infield. And he was also my pitching coach. I pitched at Eastern for my freshman year. So Jeff was a good kind of strategy person, and he was only there for 5 years, unfortunately.
Because I moved away for a while, I'm a little out of the loop on stuff. So where did they find Jeff Anderson? Did he go to Eastern?
He was a basketball player at Eastern, and Clyde took him under his wing and had him coach softball with him while he was a student.
Oh.
And then he just stayed on.
Okay. So now here we are. You've made the decision. You graduated Wyndham. You're going to go to Eastern. You want to play softball for a winter. Tell us about starting out as a freshman. I mean, you won one national championship, right?
Yeah.
But those teams were loaded, I'm assuming, right?
Well, every year that I was there, so my freshman year we finished third in the country. My sophomore year we finished second. We lost to Trenton State. My junior year we won. My senior year we had the national championship at Eastern, and we came in second.
That's right. There were years, it was held at Eastern a lot.
Yeah.
I remember going up there as a kid and just sitting up on the hill or watching it, and then there were years they had it at, Trenton State, and I'm trying to think of some other places.
Central Iowa.
Central
Hello.
Iowa. Okay, well, take us through 1990. I graduated high school. I know you're a couple years older, but take us through that year, and what did you guys know from the beginning of that season that, okay, we got to, every team seemed like it was special, but this one, you just felt like you had it in the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I would say my freshman year at Eastern was the most talented. We had 5 All-Americans, but the chemistry wasn't there as much as it was our junior year. So everybody was cheering for each other. We had a fierce competitor in Christia Mohan, who was our pitcher, Bridget Rakowski, Dawn Schneider, Leanne Shoup. Colleen Healy was on that team. Dawn Walmsley was on that team. We had a lot of great athletes, but we all played together and wanted to win together, and I think that was the difference.
Diana Pepin is with us, a longtime ECSU softball coach, 24 years. She's been the Eastern softball coach. She's our guest for episode 101 of Hometown Threads on WILI, 1400 AM, 95.3 FM, and Willimantic Today and Spectrum 192, brought to you by Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. You mentioned a lot of those players on that 1990 National Championship team. How many of them do you stay in touch with these days?
Well, Colleen. Don Brolin was my assistant coach for 5 years, Walmsley. Yeah, a lot of them come back. I mean, Dawn Schneider, Leanne Shoup, like 5 or 6, like constantly. But
speaking of Colleen, we were just talking. We mentioned her a couple times, and hello to Colleen Haley. She's a well-known figure around here as well. Great athlete. And today we're taping the show on her birthday. So was it yesterday or today?
No,
I think
it's today.
So happy birthday to the great Colleen Healy. Maybe we'll have to get her on at some point. You mentioned, and I lost track of this too, that she, did she eventually play for UConn? She got on that team, didn't she?
Yeah.
On the women's
Yeah, she was a walk-on.
No, not 95, right? No, wait a minute.
No.
It couldn't have been 95. What year? Because I remember
She played with Laura Lishness.
Okay, because I remember going, I know her. She's on the UConn women's team.
So in 91, well, 90-91 is when she started at UConn.
Oh, right. Okay, so...
She played with Rebecca, Jen Rosati.
That's right. She saw some playing time, too.
Towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, wow. All right, so happy birthday to Colleen. Now, let's talk a little about today. It's 24 years you've been doing this thing, coaching ECSU softball. What's been your best year so far? I mean, every year is special within itself. You have, girls coming in and out here and there, different teams. What has been, since 2001, what's been your best team? What's the furthest? Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot. What's the furthest you've went in your 24 years of being head coach at ECSU softball, off the top of your head?
Well,
you must have,
the Molly Rathbun era was really good. And that was 2011, 12, well, 10, 11, 12. We won 4 conference titles. We went to the World Series twice, finished 3rd in the nation, finished 5th in the nation. So that group was really special. And then in 2019, we finished 3rd in the nation. In 22, we finished 5th.
So you've gotten close.
We've gotten really close. The 19 team really came together towards the end. Morgan Bolduc, who was from Rockville, she was pitching, and she didn't give up a run in the Lilies Conference tournament.
What is, do you just coach softball at Eastern, or do you
No, I used to be the
stuff?
aquatics director, and we do game management. We're on a bunch of committees. I'm on the top 25 committee for the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association. I was on the All-American committee. I'm on a lot of committees. So there's a lot that we do behind the scenes instead of just coaching.
Has there, 24 years is a long time. Has there been any time throughout your career of coaching at Eastern where you're like, okay, this is fun, but I think it's time to call it quits? I mean, you must love what you're doing. You've been doing it for 24 years. I mean, is there anything else that you see yourself doing, or you at any point did you want to stop?
I'll retire there, I'm sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the people, the kids that come in. You see their growth from freshman year till senior year, and I think that's the most rewarding because you're mentoring them. You're seeing how far they've become an adult, how far they've come to be an adult, and it's a rewarding field. I have a number of former players that are coaching at the collegiate level right now.
Well, name them. Go ahead.
Ariel Cooper, who is at Coast Guard. Kelly Patterson, who is at University of New Haven right now. Christine Akers at Holy Cross. Aaron Miller is at Wheaton.
Look at you. So the Diana,
High school.
the Coach Pepin coaching tree is definitely looking good.
Yeah, and Molly was at UConn, pitching coach.
That's going to make you so proud, though,
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, 24 years of coaching ECSU softball, you see a lot of different generations and how the kids from back then are how they are today. And kind of putting you on the spot here, what kind of challenges do you see coaching today as opposed to back in the early days, 2001, 2004, whatever?
Well, travel ball kind of changed things. So kids want to be recruited now, so they have showcase tournaments, so everybody gets to play. They don't earn a playing spot. So that's the hard part, and they think when they get to college, sometimes they're just going to play because that's what they know.
Oh, entitlements.
Yeah. So we have to teach them the game a little bit more, or the game within the game, but it's challenging sometimes because they're not as competitive as we were back in the day.
Absolutely. That's a great... I totally see, being around the same age, and you talked about it earlier in the show, the competitiveness that was that era that we grew up in.
Yeah.
You don't... Again, I'm not a coach. I'm not there. But you really... I'm not saying these girls that you coach or any of this generation isn't competitive, but you definitely see a little less competitiveness, you think, compared to our generation?
Oh, totally.
Wow, that's
We
amazing.
have to go over just sprinting on and off the field because it's not a standard at their travel ball level or their high school level. So we'll practice sprinting on and off the field. And I tell them if they don't, then they're not going to be on the field.
That is amazing. And how do they take that?
Well, they know the standard, so
They know they
either
better do it.
or they don't play.
Amazing. Yeah, we would take that as, okay, got to do it, let's do it. There would be
Yeah.
no questions asked. Every generation is different. I know we have just a couple more minutes here. I want to ask you, I'm just trying to squeeze in everything. That's a 25-minute show for you, or 25 and change. Recruiting. Speak a little about that. What's it like recruiting softball players?
Well, it's been different. Every year changes, but we go to a number of local or in New England showcases and tournaments, and we watch kids that we think will fit our team. We're looking more for their character and their talent. So I look at how they handle themselves on the field, how they talk to their parents, how they talk to their coaches, what they say to their teammates, if they're competing on the field, if they're doing something outstanding. So it's definitely different than in 2000, let's say 10, when I was recruiting Molly and she was a third string pitcher and I had to wait, but I knew she was going to compete. Everybody plays now, and if they don't play a ton, they think they can still play at college at a high level.
Wow. Another thing with this generation, right? But hey, as I said, every generation is different. Well, let's say, what is it going to take to turn this team around? Do you guys still think you can make a run, being 5-9 at this point?
Yeah, I think that we're learning every day. I think that we have some talent. We just need to put it all together. We have Elizabeth Mitchell, who is a standout at Coventry, won 2 state titles as a pitcher with Julia Boya, who was playing center field for them. So they have state titles under their belt, and they're competitive. So I just think that they need to gain some experience at the collegiate level. And again, we're young, we're learning. So hopefully we can do something in the conference and get a conference title again and go on from there.
I mean, come on, it's ECSU. Don't be surprised they turn it around. Next thing you know, they're Little East champs. Diana Pepin, first of all, thanks so much for coming in. A lot of people know you in this community. You've been coaching ECSU softball 24 years. Of course, you've been at Wyndham. Very quickly, how many people, I know there's probably tons of people that you'd like to thank and show love to that have helped you along the way?
Wow. Well, one comes to mind is Linda Gottlieb, who was my high school coach at Wyndham High, who believed in me and really taught me a lot about myself and coaching in general. She was an Eastern volleyball player, and she passed away from breast cancer, so I play a lot for her. And then, Mike Shea helped me tremendously within, sports in general, looking out for me, making sure I was academically eligible, things like that. Jeff Anderson, of course, and just the whole crew at Eastern has been great.
It's been great having you.
Thank you so much.
Coach Diana Pepin, EC football, 24-year head coach and, local legend around here. Local legend. Definitely has done a lot for the community, for Wyndham, ECSU, and thank you so much for being our guest for episode 101 of Hometown Threads. On 14 WILI 95.3 FM, thanks to Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. Thank you to J. Matt Rupar, and the words of the great Roddy McCumber.
Bye for now, folks. Bye for now.
And that concludes another edition of Hometown Threads. Got a story for Keith? Reach out to him on Facebook by searching Keith C. Rice or email him at krice@hallradio.net. Don't forget to tune in next week on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM, as well as the Willimantic Today page on Facebook.